as an entrepreneur, you really actually find yourself more than any probably other thing in the world. As an entrepreneur, it's probably the most solo thing you can do in life. And you have to kind of like become like super self-aware, but super in tune with who you are in terms of, you know, triggers and emotions and the things you actually care about, the things you prioritize based on things you care about. Like, you have to really start to understand who you are, because your family might ask you to do this, or your friends might ask you to do this, but you gotta prioritize for you, right? You gotta become in tune with you. And so I think entrepreneurship is like the best journey to find out who you are. And to me, the most successful entrepreneurs are the most self-aware.
What's up, good people? It's your boy Zeke Wangang, and we are on the streets of Kansas City. We're actually on 18th Street. We're gonna pull up on Border Brewery to meet with Joshua Lewis, the founder of Updown Nightlife, and also the founder of Kin Seltzer, the first black seltzer in the US. For those of you who like either beer or seltzer, let me know why you like beer or seltzer. Put in the comments below. But hey, join me as we go and talk with Joshua Lewis up at Border Brewery. So pull up with me. Let's go. Hey, what's up,
What's up, man?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Good. Thank you. Yeah. Man, thank you for inviting us to the spot, man. Where we at?
We're at Border Brewery, man, where all the magic is made. Kin is brewed and canned and shipped out, man.
Wow, so this is where it all started.
Yeah, literally where it all started.
Right in this spot.
Yeah, I mean, here in Keystone. I'll let Eric kind of do his job
Yes.
as far as like talking about how this works. But this is definitely where it's made. I think the cool part about it is that it's consumer friendly, right?
Yes.
So obviously it's being brewed in the back, but in the front side of the building is where people can actually come taste beer.
This is where you had your the early stage.
The launch, the launch event was here.
Yes.
We do events here, and we're actually starting First Fridays.
Okay, First Fridays?
Yeah, First
Okay,
Fridays start
okay.
June 7th, and we're combining a can event / border First Friday event. That's gonna be huge. Yeah, we're gonna do it all the way into October.
Shoot, I'm gonna pull up.
Yeah,
Always,
okay, say that. Yeah, man, so check it out.
That's one, not two or three. This real life, baby, don't make believe. I just make it look easy like ABC. I'm on it 24/7.
Man, this is obviously a really nice space. I'm loving the vibes, but I'm hearing some movement in the back, some check out.
Yeah,
you know?
we really working. Eric actually should be somewhere around. Oh, there you go.
What's up, boss? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Good to see you.
What's up?
Man, thank you for inviting us to your space. Give us a little bit of spiel of what we're at, how this started, and you know the whole nine.
Absolutely, man. You're at Border Brewing Company, so we've been in business for about 10 years now.
Wow.
But Josh and I just got connected a few years ago. He came to us with this idea about Kin Seltzer, and we just kind of started brainstorming on it. Both fell in love with the idea. It's really his baby, but we're here to help. So we started creating this product. We've been improving it as we go, but now I think it's absolutely fire.
Yeah.
The most fascinating part for me is the brewing part of it, and which I think we're gonna get to.
Yeah.
But I wanna give us a little bit of your experience of like brewing. How long have you been brewing? How did you start brewing and all the good stuff?
Sure, yeah. I was a chemical engineer before this for about 6 years. Decided to quit my job, start a brewery, and start brewing craft beer. So we've been making craft beer for about 10 years now.
Wow.
But as the markets change, we started to get into other beverages. So hard cider, hard seltzer, even NA, non-alcoholic products.
Okay.
So really expanding horizons, which is why when I met Josh, it was like, this is perfect, man. This is exactly what we're looking to do.
So you got the science of it, and I want to see that science real quick. So if you can pull up to the back, you know, let's see how the mixture gets mixed, whatever it is. Let's get it done.
Sure.
All right, bet, let's go.
I'm at the top, that's one, not two or three. This real life, baby, don't make believe. I just make it look easy like ABC. I'm on it 24/7, 25/8. I just pick up the pace.
What's up, good people? Welcome back to Student Entrepreneur Season 2. I am Zeke Wanganga, your host and your favorite storyteller around the city. On this show, we dive into the journey of successful entrepreneurs to uncover the steps they took to creating and scaling their company. On a real though, we want to learn how they started and grew their business so you can do the same. Speaking of capital and resources, shout out to KC SourceLink for sponsoring this episode. If you're a business owner looking to find resources to grow your business, definitely go to KC SourceLink and get the info. Now we've paid the bills you already know, let's go to the show. Yo, I am so excited for the guest I have today because he is someone that inspires me. As a matter of fact, I had him on the show 3 years ago, and the man is a king in growing social capital and raising capital. My next guest is a serial entrepreneur who has raised over $3 million, turning his passion for nightlife into successful startups. Help me welcome the founder of Updown Nightlife and Kin Seltzer, Joshua Lewis. How you doing, Buzz?
Yeah, what's up, man? How you?
Good, man. Good to have you on the show.
Yeah, man. I'm having a blast today?
Yeah, this
behind the scenes has been fun.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a lot of a lot of jokes, a lot of things going on. But I want to say I love the fit though. I love the fit.
Appreciate it,
I had to match the fit, had to match the vibe. Black on black. I love that. It's been 3 years in the making, full circle moment, man. It's just been great to kind of see your growth and how you've been able to pivot, man. Just good to see you back again, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I remember 3 years ago, man, we had a hell of a interview, man.
Yeah.
I actually still watch it to this day.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff that me and you talked about. I got good content from, but it was a lot of nuggets that a lot of interviewers really don't ask me. That you brought out, man. So I that's one of my favorite interviews to date.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I really
of course,
appreciate
of course.
that. For me, honestly, I did a lot of research. I was really inspired by your journey before I actually met. I was surprised that you came to the show because literally I didn't even know where to fit because I was trying to figure things out. So it was so inspiring for me to see you in person and chat with you just because I've read about you so much and seeing you in person. And just seeing you grow in the community and how you're doing things, it inspires me. And low key, you've become a mentor to me. Like I come to you whenever I have I have a lot of crazy ideas. So I have to come to you and check like
Crazy's good. Crazy's good.
Crazy, you're the only one who understands, so you help me. This might be too much, but this is how we can do it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I need. So thank you again for
course, man, always.
all you do and also being on the show. So for those who don't know who Joshua Lewis is, give them a bit of brief bio. Who are you? Who Joshua Lewis? Let them know.
Yeah, man. So I am ex-athlete, originally from Dallas, Texas, played basketball, football, track all in high school, decided to play basketball in college. That's what led me to Kansas City, Missouri. I played basketball at Park University, athletic scholarship, and throughout that time I partied, man. When I say partied, like one of those, right? Having a great time, realized it was a thing that I actually enjoyed and it wasn't just a hobby, and built a business from it. And that's where I got my first one, Updown Nightlife app, the social media for Nightlife, which essentially is people who party. It's the Instagram for those people.
Yes.
And so built that for about 10 years, raised some capital, learned a lot about business, had a lot of failures, customer acquisition and just a little bit of everything, honestly, when you're thinking about business. And so throughout that time period, I did a lot of learning, right? And then realized that I had a big community. I think around the end of the pandemic is when we relaunched the app because it failed the first time. And we opened up with the first like 6-7 months with about 3,000, 4,000 people.
Wow, yes.
And then it just spurred up, right? And so we ended up getting to about 30,000 people, and I realized I had a big community of people and wanted to serve those people in different ways, right? I started to understand what they wanted, what they liked. And that's when the business side came in. Launched my next business, Kin Seltzer. First black-owned seltzer in America, right? Crazy accomplishment, I can't lie.
Clap it up.
And so we've been running that business for about a year and some change. 62 locations, got a couple national deals inked. That'll be announced soon. And then just learning more about the business side now, right? Like I knew how to get a community. I knew how to convert that community into money. Now it's like, giving them a product, how to convert that product into more dollars and raise capital. And it's a lot of learning, bro. That's what it's all about.
No, and I want us to, we're going to dive deeper into that a little bit. But I think I really want to, touch base. Like what really fascinated me about you is the fact that you turned nightlife into a business.
Yeah. Because
when people say you're going out to party, it's usually, he's not going to do anything with that. But you've been working in the industry for 10 years and actually made it a successful business, right? Yeah. So for me, it's like, how did you know there was a market in the nightlife industry? How did you know there was a business, a startup that was different from what others were thinking about it? How did you come to that realization?
So like you said, when people think about nightlife, they think drinks, fun, party, dance, right? It's there, that's true, right? But that's really surface level, right? I was a very minute, smart individual, so I broke the business down. And while doing that, you realize that the business is a $700 billion business, right? Any night in Kansas City, it's 50 to 70,000 people that go out to get a drink, food, or enjoy some of their time outwardly, right? And so I realized that that's a market within itself. And you just have to learn to dissect the market, right? So instead of me going out to party and just getting drunk and not caring about what's going on, I'm going out to party to understand and study, right? It's the same as any other business. And that's what I knew, if I could convey that message to the community, that they would understand that I'm doing this differently. And that's what it was, right? I turned into, I went from promoter to business owner. Right, essentially. And so the promoter piece is huge. I like to tell people that it's not something to be ashamed of because you learn people really well when you're a promoter and how to get them to do things. But then you just add the business acumen, the operations, the legal, the things that turn you into something else.
Business,
And I just mastered it, I feel like, to be honest with you, man. In a time where promoters and partying still to this day is a thing that, people depend on to enjoy themselves. And I just made another avenue for myself.
Yeah, no, I mean, man, every time I go out, I see you, I'm like, I can't do that. Like I can't do that job because like it's hard work.
Yeah.
Because you're working when others are sleeping.
Yeah.
People are having fun, but you're also workers. You're trying to do, it's market research.
Yeah.
As funny as it might sound for people who are, partying, no, you're doing market research because you're really understanding who your customers are.
Yeah.
So let's dive into, Kin Seltzer.
Yeah.
When did that idea happen? How did it come about? What was that? What was the story about that?
Yeah. So it's crazy. It's crazy that we're here because this is where it happened, right? So
yes.
I was attending a Keystone session about 2 years ago.
Okay.
It was a beer session, right? And I'm in the industry.
Yes.
Market research. Beer was one of the next steps for me to understand in the space. I knew spirits, I knew people, I knew venues, I knew clubs, I knew music, I knew art, I knew fashion. I didn't know beer, right? And so when I seen that it was going to be a panel here, I pulled up, right? Like I want to learn what they talking about, right?
Yes.
And it was so informative. It was so informative for me. I realized that like, even if I consider myself at the top of the food chain when we talk about nightlife, if I don't know beer, I know my consumers don't know beer, right? And the ones that do, they're not talking about it, so it's not hot. And so it was just a lot of information I learned that day. Reached out to Kevin and said, hey, everybody on that panel, I need an intro, right? Like, what is it gonna take for me to meet those guys? With the idea in mind to just connect, right? Met with Eric from Border Brewery. Shout out to Eric, man, one of my if not my best business partner I've ever worked with to date. And we sat down, we talked about events and driving traffic and people, and that's what I know, right?
Yes.
And I think it sparked interest in him to understand that like, oh man, you can bring people to do whatever, man, because you understand the people. 6 months go by, we do some events at his venue. Which I did attend, by the way. Yeah. And then I came back around back door and realized that we need to give my community, and not even just my community, all communities a drink, a different drink, right? And so when I say different drink, seltzers were the hottest drink, if not still maybe the hottest drink, RTDs, in the beverage space.
True.
But none of them were black, obviously, we're the first black owned. And then none of them had an authentic vibe to them, right? And I wanted to give that, right? Because seltzer is a really watered down industry, straight to the point, drink it, be happy, right? And I'm like, nah, just like nightlife, it's not just drinking. It's a nuance to it, right? When you have a dope can in your hand, you feel better when you're drinking. Stuff like that. And so went to him and described it to him, and we launched that bad boy.
Wow. Dang. Man, speaking of Keystone and Keystone sessions, because I remember that session was one of the few, I think it was like either the second or third one that we had. It was like early stage. Just to see what came out of that early stage of the event.
Literally the first black owned seltzer in America.
Wow.
Came from that session.
Yeah. So this is, plug Keystone, plug Kevin.
Always.
Because what he's doing is really awesome.
Big time.
Without him, we wouldn't be sitting here right now.
100%.
Right? This is the spot where things happen. This is the ecosystem when it comes to Kansas City. And as we're plugging this, hopefully people can be able to come through and be able to see what is actually happening here, because you need to be here to see it, right?
Yep.
Now I want to talk about, because I know you pivoted from Nightlife app to being able to go to having an actual product.
Yeah.
What was that pivot like for you? Like, how did you make that pivot? Because that's, how did you come to that? This is something I need to actually do because there's a market for it.
Yeah, well, like I said, my thing was from the tech side. The thing about tech, it's a very data-driven business.
Yes.
The model where the real money is generated is who has the most data on these set of people, right? With that being said, I was a data expert, right? When it came to what nightlife people liked, drink, want. I could even go into a club to this day, see somebody and tell them what their favorite drink is, off what they got on, right? What they look like, what music they're bobbing their head to. Like I've studied it. So with that, I knew that whenever I make the transition to a product, that it's going to be the same thing, just giving them something different, right? And so at the end of the day, it's not a big difference when you're talking about tech and product in the sense of it's data driven. You need to know your analytics. You need to know exactly the numbers and the things on the people you're trying to serve.
Yes.
And that's what that's what the pivot was for me, right? So it was, instead of giving them a technology, I'm gonna give them a product, but these people like what they like, and it's a data driven piece for me. So when we launch, I know how to make the can look. When we launch, I know how the flavor should be. When we launch, I know exactly where we should market this to begin with, right? So just to give you a quick tip, most beverages in the beverage space, especially startups, they really focus on retail, right?
Okay.
That's where the bulk orders come in, right? If I'm at a retail store, I can order, bulk order. I knew that that's not the way to become a cool brand and raise brand awareness quickly. So we went on premise, bars, restaurants, and clubs. People are stylish in those spaces. The influencers in those spaces, they're not at the grocery store, right?
No.
They're at the club, they're at the bar, they're at the restaurant.
That's true.
And so we targeted that, which is why we're in 62 locations quickly. But then we grew a quick buzz. We're a year in, and 62 locations really doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
But then also, people know us like crazy because we targeted different. That's all data, right? And so it just was a data-driven piece for me, man, and understanding it. Yeah.
One thing we're really big on this show is target audience, target market,
Yeah.
understanding product market fit.
Yeah.
Because there's something to say. You just said something that's very, very cool and unique, is that people don't go to the grocery store, Walmart, to buy drinks. They only buy that just because they want to go home and drink it.
It's there.
That's not where the population goes to.
Yeah.
Anyone who drinks at home is not really your customer, because they only buy that once in a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Once in a while they go and take it.
Yeah.
But the market understands it's every night.
Yeah.
They're going to be out there every night. Now, I want you to dig deeper into, I know you mentioned you've been in the industry for 10 years.
Yeah.
Because I think many people misunderstand. I have an idea, let me go do it, and just start it. But to hear that you've been in the industry for 10 years, talk about social capital.
Yeah.
Researching, building that up for the 10 years to saying, once you launch this, it just went like that.
Yeah.
Not because you started yesterday, but you did your research.
Yeah, research, man. And it's I call it, you say social capital, I say social equity, right? I've developed a very strong social equity, and that's essentially that party promoter mentality.
Yes.
Very like entrepreneurish, very grind hard, like 4 or 5 parties a week. How can I make cash? How can I make sure people know about my brand? Foot to pavement, right?
Exactly.
I'm going to walk into this bar and ask them,
Yes.
can I do a party? And essentially 8 to 10 years of that is what really got me to a point where whatever I launched in this space, it was going to do numbers, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the social equity piece. You kind of know, man. I'm probably Mr. Network, to be honest. Like
That's true.
like I've gotten to a point where maybe you might not see me as much now,
Yes.
because I know the network.
You know network, yes.
But for the first 10 years I was networking with not only the entrepreneurs and the people that are building things, but the people that they're giving it to, right? Like I'm partying with them, but I'm also partying with them.
That's what I'm saying,
And
yes.
so two-sided market, just understood that at the end of the day, everybody on the planet loves to have a good time one time or another.
That's true.
So I'm going to run across everybody eventually, and stayed out, man. And
Yeah.
I stayed out, I stayed patient. And I party with, people say this a lot with nonprofits, I party with purpose. But essentially, man, I wasn't out sloppy drunk. I wasn't out. I'm out with a business to promote and a vision, right? And had a lot of hurdles, but knew the long term and got through it.
Yeah. No. Speaking of, community, speaking of culture, speaking of the people you do it for, I want to ask you a more personal question, because I know for me, the show is being able to inspire someone out there who has been thinking of an idea, but because they feel like, I don't know where to start or who to go to, or maybe this is not me, like I can't do this because I can see myself doing it.
Yeah.
This show is to show you that you can start a business from nightlife. You can start a business from gamifying something, right? Who do you do it for, and why do you do it?
Yeah, it's crazy. I used to say earlier in my career that I do it for the young Black kid that comes from the community I come from, which still to this day is true.
Yeah.
It's expanded a little more. My thought process on who I do it for is a lot broader now. Just because when you start to dive in on nightlife, you understand how diverse it is and how all communities need inspiration. And that's how, like, from the top of the food chain, the world becomes a better place.
True.
And so for me, honestly, I do it for anyone, literally anyone, that feels like they can accomplish a really big goal, right? Even the kid that is rich, lives in a suburban neighborhood, that wants to achieve something that hasn't been done yet,
Yeah.
that's a hard task when you're sitting in your room by yourself.
That's true.
And so for me, I start to just look at this thing as like really achieving the impossible. Anybody that has that feeling, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost hard to explain because it's really a vibe.
Yes.
That person in their room or that's gonna watch this video that is like, I wanna do something that is literally impossible.
Yeah.
Is the people that I really target today. And when you target those people, the people that are just thinking even smaller than that, still feel the vibes and are affected. And so just the top of the food chain, man.
Yeah.
The person that wants to do something that's never been done.
Yeah.
That's who I'm looking to target.
Man, that's so powerful because it's one of my goals too, is to be able to, that person sitting like, hey, have this huge crazy idea. Like you say, crazy is good because crazy ideas with strategy become great ideas. But speaking on that, for the people, we have a segment on the show what we do for the folks, people who do it for.
Wow.
Let's do a cheers.
Wow,
with the
yeah,
kin,
man. Let's pop this baby open,
With a
man.
kin. I've learned how to pop it now because I have to take it a while.
There we go.
It gets me.
That's on purpose.
There we go. For the people who do
For
it
the
for.
folks, man. For the folks.
I say whenever.
Quick secret. I don't know if it's a secret as much, but you know why when you pop it open and it does this?
I do
That's
not
on
know
purpose.
why. It is.
So we try to be the seltzer, the champagne of the seltzer industry.
Oh.
Right. So when you pop it, we fill it to the top. So when you pop it open, it's like a celebration. So if you like in a group of folks, you know how you do the pop
Yes.
the top on the
Yes.
champagne. We try to be the
Cut
same
this part
thing.
out because I want to be able to tell it to my friends. So they
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what this is for. So I didn't know that. I'm like,
yeah.
why does it always pop on
we
me? I'm
fill
like,
it to the top. We want you to when you splash it, it's like, yeah. You got to next time
Okay.
you got to scream. You got to say, yeah.
now I can use it better. Now I can use it better
There we
because now
go.
I know
There
the
we
use
go.
for
Now
it.
you
See,
know,
that's
yeah.
If you don't know,
Yeah,
know.
we figured it would eventually catch on because people would eventually be like,
Yes.
oh, this thing splashes when I open it.
oh, yeah, it would take someone like me for a while to get that there,
Yeah.
but you know,
Yeah.
but you know, I always say once you get some alcohol in you, you know, you can talk about money.
Yeah.
One, not two or three. This real life, baby, don't make believe. I just make it look easy like ABC.
All right, so where are we right now?
We're in the brewery, so this is where we make all sorts of products. We started just making beer, but now we're making hard cider, hard seltzer, non-alcoholic products, all sorts of stuff we can make right here.
So for those who are, you know, drink geniuses, drink enthusiasts, what is the difference between brewing beer and seltzer? Like, is there time difference? Is there a different procedure for that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, any alcoholic beverage is really just fermenting sugar. So with beer, you're getting that sugar from barley. If it's wine, you're getting it from grapes. If it's cider, you're getting it from apples. And with hard seltzer, you're just basically mixing sugar and water and you're letting that ferment for your base. And then you're adding flavorings or fruit. So for us with Kin Seltzer, what we wanted to do was start with real fruit and get a real authentic, natural fruit flavor. And so that's where we started. And I think that's what sets Kin Seltzer as a product apart from its competitors.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that because I know whenever I taste it, there's this natural feel to it, and it's also very light. Like it's not like
Yeah.
heavy on you. You can feel like it's light.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's because we don't lean on artificial flavorings. It's actual real fruit. It's juice. It's stuff that comes from real fruit. So it tastes natural. It tastes like you're actually eating a strawberry, or you taste the pineapple and the peach and the lemon and the lime. You get all those flavors in their raw form.
And you can smell it too. So for me, I've spoken to a lot of entrepreneurs, and they're definitely, you know, different phases when it comes to their journey. And I know the first, I was a huge fan of the first, you know, product came out with Kin Seltzer, but there's been a lot of improvements in that. What are some stages you guys have gone through in terms of the science of it to be able to make it a better product than it was?
Yeah, we started by just throwing real fruit into there so we knew what that flavor would taste like. We wanted it to taste like real fruit. Then as we've gone along, there are considerations like shelf life and consistency and things that we have to improve on. And so we found some partners that can help us with those things. We've gone up the supply chain to find higher quality, better products that are more consistent. And we've really just we just continue to improve. We sit down at the bar all the time and we taste it and we go, okay, it's good. We don't want to change the recipe, but can we make it better? Can we make it more shelf stable? Can we cut costs without sacrificing quality? So we're always asking those questions to try to improve it, but we want to make sure that the quality is always at that high standard that we set for ourselves.
It's cool. So I know you guys also do the canning in here as well.
Yes, we do.
Can you show me a little bit of that process?
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's go take a look at that.
I'm at the top, that's one, not two or three. This real life, baby, don't make believe. I just make it
Sweet.
look
So
easy like ABC.
what is this machine we're looking at, and how does this work? Because I know it takes a lot of work to get it going.
Yeah, it does. This is our canning line. We can do about 20 cans per minute on this thing of our Kin Seltzer, so it works pretty fast when it's going. we got it all set up right now. We're going to be canning some more Kin Seltzer pretty soon. So I'd like to invite you back when you can come check that out. What's
Yeah,
going.
I definitely want to see this movie because this is awesome that it's brewed in here, it's branded in here, all in one place.
Yeah, we were able to get the idea when Josh came to me. We started working on the recipe, started doing some sampling, got the recipe tweaked and nailed down. Then we were able to make it, can it, and we actually sell it and distribute it all here in-house. So we're doing it all right here.
All here in KC, guys. All here on 18th Street at Border Brewer. You know, you've seen it first here. So, hey, pull up, get some Kin Seltzer, and I'm about to go get some tasting because, you know, I can't come to where it's brewed without having some tasting, you know? I got to taste it. So thank you so much, Eric, for showing us the whole process of it. I'm going to come back definitely to get that B-roll of how it actually happens here because this is magic, you know, just to see the process of it. You know, I know that some of our viewers are, you know, beer lovers and also Kin Seltzer. Like, it's good to see the process of how it actually happens. So thank you for sharing the insight. And, yeah, let's go get some drinks. Let's do it. Yeah. Sweet. So let me get some, you know, Kin Seltzer while we're talking a little bit of business. So I definitely want to ask you this because I know since when you started till now, what has the sales been like? What has that marketing been like for you?
Yeah. So like, I can give you a quick history of like what typical beverage brands do in their first year. So we're a year and 2 months in. They usually get about 10 to 12 accounts in a year, right? Okay. We're at 62, right? So that kind of gives you an idea 62. of not only just a test to like the product because it's the best in the market, but like the fact that like the partnership works. We're able to do so much in-house and speed up our process, right? We don't have to wait on a distributor to not sell our product. We don't have to wait on like our relationships that we create with the bars and brewers. Exactly. And so for us, it's really helped because we've been able to like do it ourselves. With that and Updown having the market that it had from all the events it's done over the years, we were able to get into accounts quick and just work on our process, man. And so the last step was just to make a good product, and we're about to show you how good that is.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I think it's so cool to have the start and finish in one building because you control how much you want to make and how much you can distribute. So that's fantastic.
And it's cool just from a business perspective. This is not a long-term thing for us as far as being in this building, making everything in-house. We would love to contract it out eventually to get to that national stage that we're definitely going to get to. Yeah, it's coming.
The demand is coming. Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah. So.
And I know I told you this in the past, but my friends, my Nigerian friends, the first time they had Kin, they're like, this reminds me of, there's something called palm wine. Okay. And it's like a fruit that comes from like a palm, like a tall tree. Wow. And it's like so fresh. So I told you that, right? When they pop open, and they're like, and also it looks like it too. It literally looks like it. And they come and be like, so I mess with it. That's what I'm saying. So they mess with it. So anyways, let's cheers to some Kin. Cheers. And it also has a fizz too of the palm wine. So
that's huge. Man, do you have a way to try it? I would love to try one.
You have to come to Nigeria then.
Oh, got it.
You gotta pull up Nigeria.
Let's go overseas. Let's do it.
You gotta go from Nigeria.
Yeah, we'll put it in the marketing budget.
Let me know. I wanna, put me in the marketing budget. I wanna be in the marketing budget. But man, thank you so much for, having us in this space. Thank you, Eric, for showing us how the magic happens. And this is the space where I started. It's also good to be able to come and show people where it happens because it's so key. It's one thing to be in the studio talking about, hey, this is what we do, how we do it. It's another thing to actually show up in the space and say, this is the step-by-step process. And it's, like I said, I'm so overwhelmed with joy that it's the process start and finish. It's all here. You can see the whole line. So thank you. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for having us. Thank you, Eric, for showing us the whole thing. And we want to keep it Kin.
Yeah. Keep it Kin. Keep it Kin.
Let's see y'all. How much have you raised, and what has been your most successful strategy so far?
Yeah, man. Weirdly enough, the exact number is weird. It's 3.5 million estimated. It's a little more than that if you add in grants. Wow. In my earlier career, but it's not much more. But I think, like 3.5. Dang. So
congrats on that.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Congrats on that. I'll drink on that.
And so the strategy side has developed over the years, and so it's a 3-part strategy that I tell everybody. Right. I perfected storytelling, I perfected community building, and I have a premium data room, right? The storytelling side is that piece that everybody connects with, they feel, right? Whether you're an investor, consumer, anybody, right? When you have a great story, you know how to engage others, right? You talk about being a storyteller. That's something that you always need, especially with investors. They love a good story. And so I also realized that the reason early in my career I was able to raise capital when I didn't know much is because people knew I had a lot of people behind me, right? So even when I didn't have a lot of information, I always had a lot of people. And so for me, it was about the community building side. And as I learned that that was very important, I dove in on it, right? When we talk about data and understanding the people that I'm serving, that's how you gain more people, right? So I just dove in on community building any way I could. And that always fled down to my team members and having, a great staff and that thing, right? And so I always tell people, man, go find a community that you can build in. And when you approach somebody and you say, oh, I'm building this thing, and you say, I got 10,000 people that want it, it changes the narrative,
changes the
right?
conversation.
Yeah, and so, and with that last piece is the data room, right? So the data room is very important because it speeds up the process, right? The thing about raising capital and doing it well is to be able to do it efficiently. And when all your data is packaged right and you have all the information you need, and an investor is like, hey, I'm ready, you can press go on that, right? Because you're gonna have what you need. So
more specifically though, because I know there are two sides of raising funds, which is you're pitching or you're drinking with the investor. Help me separate that. How do you do?
I'm gonna be 100 with you. It's a great question, right? When you're pitching, a lot of the times, it's very seldom. It's very seldom, unless you're doing VC raising VC, but or if you're doing like pitch competitions, is when you're essentially pitch deck, going through the numbers, going through the things. But when you really grinding early stage, and not even just early stage, because I wouldn't say I'm early stage, but when you're grinding in a sense of, raising your first dollar, a lot of the times, man, it's not that pitch deck vibe, right? It's high growth network individuals that have capital, and even in venture capital, like a lot of the times, you get checks based on a connection, right? Like this venture capital firm might know this venture capital firm. If you guys invest, so will we, right? And so a lot of the times it's that storytelling, it's the community building, and so it's a difference. It's depending on what route you want to go. You definitely want to prepare your pitch deck. Every founder needs that. But as you grow and get into the business, I realized that if not all, I want to say majority, like 90% of my money that I've raised was not your traditional pitch. I'm gonna do a pitch deck and I'm gonna talk to the investor and they're gonna get back to me. It was sitting down with people that have capital and that can move weight and move money and sign checks quick. That's how it really works.
You know people who got capital? Because I need them.
I do, man. We can talk. I got you, man. Yeah, I got you.
Now, speaking of, because I know when it comes to networking and pitching, I've seen you in different organizations, different accelerators. In Kansas City, more specifically, or what has been some organizations or some resources you've used that has really helped you either pivot your business or get funded, or what are some of the things you've used in the city that you can be able to kind of
Casey SourceLink, one of my favorite organizations. They actually just did a presentation at 1 Million Cups this week. I went, and I hadn't been to 1 Million Cups in years, and so a very strong component for me because I was able to, when I was telling my story, tell my story through them a lot of the times, through their blog. But I love how informative the blog is, right? Like it's not just this founder raises $5 million, tell them congrats. It's this founder raised $5 million and this is how they did it. And I think for me as an entrepreneur, the minute details and learning about an entrepreneur is where you really learn about yourself as an entrepreneur. Casey, they also provide the resources when you have questions and things like that. And so Casey SourceLink is probably my favorite organization, if I'm being 100. Obviously, Keystone Lab is big time. We shouted them out earlier. I think for me, though, it's weird. I think a really good resource, and of course I'm going to say this, but I stand on it, is Nightlife, right? It's no easier way to get in front of a lot of people quick. Than Nightlife, honestly, man. Like as a resource, I need to be going out more then. Really, man. As a community builder, as a networking platform. Most business professionals get out, man. And for me, I think people overlook it, and it's essentially a resource to start whatever you're starting, right? You know how many city entrepreneurs it is that go out, right? It's way more than probably are at these events, right? And so when you think about that, man, I look at it as a resource, not like a negative or just an outlet. Nightlife really can be something, and it's just the social scene can really be something for people to grow.
I mean, you're right. I mean, I have really had a lot of connections that have had done during a little party or get together. I've shook some hands and then that turned to something else, right?
Yep.
So because, essentially, I'm definitely gonna be going to the parties you go to because it seems to be working. So
There we go.
but a little bit more technical. This is like the technical side of the show. But so like when you were starting out in your entrepreneur journey, what are some challenges you faced that you were able to solve, or you have not solved yet, that you wish you had some kind of help to do that in your journey?
Yeah, a lot of the issues I faced were built around essentially people taking my business serious. And a lot of the times, mine was a little different, obviously, because it's nightlife, it's party. People kind of like take that as a joke. But a lot of the times, people at the early stage of any business don't take the business serious. That was one of those hurdles where I think the outward image is the most important thing. The way I was able to convince people that my business was serious is by being serious online. And so I think for me, I'm just super big on any founder in any space to develop some type of real personal brand, right? Like, how do you become the expert at this or the person that people go to for this? And it's not, everybody can't keep up the pace like me on social media, but you do need to have a platform and some sort that people know you for. And that was a big hurdle for me is getting that. And I had to do a lot more of it because of my business.
Yes.
But I realized that was a real thing. And as I go forward, especially as a serial entrepreneur, you want to sell businesses, right? You want to make capital, flip it, right? And you know how real estate people flip houses.
Yes.
I call myself the real estate guy for businesses or startups. I flip startups. And essentially to do that, your personal brand has to be recognizable and trusted, right? So if I, sell Kin, when I go start my next thing, not only do my consumers got to trust me, but the people that gave me money, the people that want to give me money to start my next business, they got to trust me too. And that's based on my personal brand. And so that's a big hurdle at the early stages. People don't know you. So it's like, what do they know about you? And it's like, whatever you give them, right? And that's their personal brand. So that's one of the hurdles. I think the second hurdle that, for me, that was super, super important was that data room piece, man. Like, it's nothing like having your ducks in a row. Right? Like from the legal side to the financial side to the marketing side to the policies that you implement within your business. Like when people are tight knit like that, man, it changes the narrative on you a lot, right? Even if people are saying no to, the business model or the idea, when you come off as somebody that has your shit together, it changes the narrative. And I guess that fits in a personal brand, but the data room is how you do it. Right? On the back end. I think I've had a lot of investors tell me, especially recently, like, man, like you got your shit together. Your data room's intact, man. Like I haven't seen one this good this early. And with Kin, it's like we got things that we're gonna be doing 5 years from now in our data room. Right? Not numbers, not like how much money we're gonna make. Actual policies that will be implemented 5 years from now. And
how do you
that's
get
the
to
kind
that
of
though?
stuff.
How do you get to that? Like, how do you get to that data room? Like, what things did you use to get to that? Because I don't think you just come up with that. Like, you have to train yourself.
So you operate business over time, right? You do a lot of research on other entrepreneurs, right? Other entrepreneurs tell you things that they've run into, the battles, the hurdles that they run into as a business. And it's like, oh, so you have a problem hiring because of this. So I'm gonna implement a policy so I ain't gotta deal with that, right? And essentially, man, it's like, it's forecasting outside of financials. You want your financials to be in order, forecasting. But you wanna forecast everything about the business. Like how far fetched can you think when you think of marketing, right? Is my billboard campaign going to happen now, or is it going to happen 3 years from now, and why? Right? That's going to be in my data room, right? And even if the idea doesn't work, you're forecasting and thinking about it before it happens. So whenever it does, if you thought it was going to happen in 3 years and it happens in 2, you're still ready.
You're ready for that,
right? And so for me, I could just be sitting down one day and think of an idea, literally an idea, and I'm putting it in the data room, right? And I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to it, and when I get to it, now I'm ready. Right? Oh, you want to quit because of this? I'm ready.
I'm ready for that.
I want to hire this way. I'm ready. We finally got to 20 employees. I wanted to implement this when I got to my 20th employee. We're ready, right? And so you want to be able to do that, bro.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, if you stay ready,
you ain't got to get ready.
you already know how it is. But before we go to the next thing, I really want to ask this because I think this is really key. What differentiates Kin from other seltzers out there? What is the reason why people should care about Kin? And
King cares about them, right? Like I said, the seltzer industry is super watered down, straight to the point, drink this, drink that. We actually put a lot of effort into the thought of why they're drinking it, based on data we've collected over the years.
Yes.
And then essentially it's cooler. Let's just be real. Every culture, every race that you can think of wants to be cool. Right,
yes,
those
true.
people want to be the cool people.
That's true.
And I consider us the cool drink in the space, right? When you think about, Douce, right? Why is Douce cool? Because culture's attached to it. When you think about, Bel Air, why is Bel Air cool? Because the culture's attached to it. We essentially that for seltzers, right? Seltzers have never actually been cool. They've been straight to the point and narrow. We're gonna broaden that a little bit and be the cool seltzer of the industry.
Yeah, I know you don't like people telling what it tastes like, but I'm gonna tell you this is my favorite. I love it. Whether you like to, no,
it's cool. You do your thing. Do your thing. Yeah.
And even before you got the new brand, I've been telling my friends at any party, if it's not Kin, I ain't drinking.
Yeah.
I don't drink that much. I only drink, whiskey or bourbon or I don't do beer.
Got it.
And I hate, if you're a beer fan, I apologize, but Kin is my stuff. So, I rock with it.
It's actually for the people that don't typically do beer. See, that's what we made it for.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's my drink. So
that's
if you go
a big market, by the way.
That's a huge market. Because I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
I don't like bitter things. That's my thing. If it's bitter, I'm not a big fan of bitter things.
Yeah.
Also, which is kind of funny because I'm a health focused guy, but also I don't like bitter.
Yeah.
I always say this. People are gonna hate me for this, but it doesn't matter. It's my show, so whatever.
Yeah.
But I say if it's too healthy, don't eat it.
Got you. I think for me it's super important. It's super important to note that it can be healthy and taste good. Like that's actually feasible and possible.
It can.
You just got to do what you got to do it right?
Yeah,
that's a healthy drink, and
that's a healthy drink. Yes.
And you like the flavor.
I like the flavor because
you just got to do what you got to do.
No, but it tastes really good though.
Yeah.
So shifting gears a little bit, and I've noticed this. This is something I've noticed about you, working with you and being around you. Wherever you go, whoever you're talking with, you always want to help. You always want to make something better, regardless of whatever it is. Where did that start? Is that like, how did you develop that in you? Like you always, because me sometimes I'm in a room, I don't want to talk to nobody, I'm just want to chill, whatever you want to do. But you always have that innate thing to help and make something better.
Yeah, great question, bro. I'm addicted to learning. And a lot of the times, it's funny, I play basketball. So in order to shoot better, you would have to get in the gym and get up more shots.
That's true.
And for me, helping others is like getting up more shots, right? So when you come to me and ask me a question about business, even if I've been through it before, I'm still getting up shots. I'm learning. I'm talking myself through something that may happen later. And so I'm addicted to that, right? Like I always tell myself, I tell people like, if I could go back in school, I wouldn't play sports. That's not what I was addicted to. That's not what I loved for real. I did it because honestly, I came from a place where, I couldn't pay for college. So I had to go play sports, right? What I do now, I'm addicted to. And I understand it because Kobe Bryant was like my favorite player. He used to talk about being addicted to learning. And I would always I couldn't get it because I'm like, I don't feel that. Like I don't want to get up and go to the gym. I don't blah, blah, blah. But every single day I am addicted to learning about what I do. And it's not just nightlife and party, it's business building. And so when people ask me questions, I'm addicted to telling them and helping them because I'm also helping myself at the same time. So, I also got lucky and had a brother that did a lot of the stuff that I did before me. And on the other side of that, I understand how it feels to get that knowledge. And honestly, man, he excelled me from start to finish, right? Like I was always steps ahead of most entrepreneurs because I had somebody in my ear on a day-to-day that I could call and say, hey, what's this? And it's like, oh, you should try this. And so I knew how that felt, but then also just being addicted to learning. When I talk to you, you see sometimes I'm like, sorry for getting passionate, but I just love it, right? No, it's actual thing.
I love that. You know what I mean? Because I like people to be real with me. I'm Nigerian. In Nigeria, we go real. And sometimes people think I'm rude because I'm
Yeah,
too straightforward, but I like that straightforwardness. That's like who I am. Like I wanted you to. I grew up in a house where I'm the sixth kid, like the last kid out of six.
Yeah.
So I got like told like that was not right. Do it right, and I learned from that. So once you tell me this is not good, I want to hear that. I think a lot of people are afraid of criticism, whatever that word is. I'm not English is my second language, so help me.
Criticism.
Yes, that word.
Yeah.
But I actually enjoy criticism because it helps me improve and who I am. Like, because I don't know what I do not know. Yeah. And if you can help me get there, why should I stop you, right? I might get hurt right in the feeling, but I'm gonna go like, man, that was really good.
I got a cool story for that. So the criticism and being real and authentic. We've said meetings, so usually I'm pretty straight to the point, right? And I ain't gonna say who or anything, but we brought on an employee, and that employee came to me, and the first time they came to me, they were trying to kind of prove themselves to me. Like, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I'm like, all right, cool, we'll do a test run, right? So they go out and do some work, bring it back to me. It was cool. I had planned on hiring them. Got busy, didn't really get back to them. A month goes by. That person comes back to me and says, hey, man, I'm starting to feel defeated, and I reached out to you guys a month ago. I wanted to get some work done and all of these things, right? With a text message, right? He had my personal number. And so I was like, yeah, pull up to the office, right? And he gets in the room, and I'm planning on hiring this person, by the way, right? And the first thing I say is, I just want you to know out the gate, no one gives a fuck about your issues.
Yeah, dang. Straight up.
And when you in this space and you trying to learn and earn your way through things, no one gives a fuck. We all are going through things. And when I said it to him, he could have been like, man, I don't want to work for this person. I'm not doing that. He was like, that's what I needed to hear, right? And for me, that the point that I'm making is that authenticity and transparent piece really tells you who you need to partner with, who you need to work with, right? And so I remember it like daytime, and it was like night, and it was an experience for me that really solidified. I'm going to continue to be very transparent and honest, no matter how it hurts.
No, and I also want to say this. I think this is important to point this out. There is difference from good criticism and bad criticism. Mm-hmm. Good is saying this is not right, but this is what you can do better.
Yeah.
As opposed to that's dumb, that's stupid, don't do that.
Yeah.
What can I do? You don't tell me that.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah, and that's exactly how it happened. It was like, no one gives a fuck. But I'm here to tell you that this is how we're going to get to the point where you don't have to hit me about being uninspired. Like, I haven't even brought you on the team yet, and you telling me you sad? I don't want to deal with that. But this is how we're not going to deal with that.
Exactly.
And so, no, that's definitely a great point. And I think even then, I've gotten bad criticism where somebody told me we don't give a fuck and leave it alone. They don't tell me any advice. But when you built different, when you really an entrepreneur and you really want to get to the shit, can't nobody tell you nothing, right? Because you're going to go figure it out. And so we've talked about that 100 times. That's the mentality you have to have, even if it's not as broad and as bold as mine. Even in the back of your head when things go wrong and things are tough, no one's going to give a fuck. You got to figure it out.
Yeah, and then there's something, this is my view. No, shoot. This is we got to real. I always said it. The real stuff. We're trying to get to the real point, right?
Yeah.
This might be fun, this might not be fun, whatever it is. But I always believe in, biting, whatever it is. If they say it's not good, but keep biting at it. Just like a beaver. A beaver doesn't cut a tree in one day. It just keeps biting it. It just keeps biting it. You know what I mean? But keep learning, keep biting it, because there's something there. There's a light on the other side if you keep taking those advice. And don't always feel sad, because criticism will come. That's just life. It will hit you. Speaking of life, speaking of things that we face, because I know as a serial entrepreneur, it's not easy. It's never, it's good. We're sitting here, we're talking about success, talking about things, but it can get hard. Yeah. When it gets hard, family, challenges, how bad has it gotten? How do you deal with those situations that are behind the scene that people don't see?
Yeah. I actually try to, I'm gonna be 100, I actually try to show people those things, by the way. If you go to my page, I got some hard times on there where I like to communicate that, because that's the realism of entrepreneurship. Yeah. And I continue to try to authentically do that through my content, because I think that connects to people better than that fugazi fake stuff that ain't real. But on that side, I've been through everything. When you think about, homeless, when you think about, negative dollars in the bank account, when you think about no's from every person in the world, I've been through all of it, right? One thing I think when I get in those moments for me, it's a couple things. One is family, right? Like I had my first son when I was 22, started my business at 23. And so when you're taking care of somebody and you got something to, something to put on you have to put something on the table. You find a way to get through hard times. But then I also just, man, like, I realized that it's not about the end result, right? Like, it's essentially about the process.
Yeah.
And so when I get to know, I just know that there's more process. And that's that attachment to addicted to learning,
Yes.
right? Like, I'm gonna get the no's, I'm gonna struggle, but I'm addicted to this part in between before I even get to whatever I'm trying to get to. And so, like, I always say, like, being addicted to the process is where you focus it up at, but when you die, your process starts over with your legacy, right? And that's a whole nother process that other people carry for you. And so while you building that process and you have control of it, you just don't give up, and realize that, like, when you in those moments that are the toughest moments of your life, because there are some, right? You don't actually care about, you start to change your mind and you not care about the result. You just care about learning some more, right? And so I just got addicted to that, where it was like, whether I got money or not, tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna learn something.
Yeah.
So,
No, on a real though, for me, it took me a long time to come to a place where I accept no as not now.
yeah.
Because, I'll say this, on a real, being the last kid of my family, things were always handed to me. My clothes were hand me down.
Got
My
it.
shoes were hand me down.
Yeah,
So there's
yeah,
always someone above I can ask for something.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I came to a point where I realized I had nothing.
Yeah.
But this was the pandemic. I had no job, nothing. I had
Yeah.
to go and start cleaning toilets for Airbnb,
Yeah.
DoorDash, or whatever I could do to make money.
Yeah.
Made me realize, shoot, you're on your own. And nobody coming to help you.
Yeah.
And nobody coming
Yeah.
to hand you down no clothes no
Yeah.
more. You
Yeah.
got to figure this out.
Yeah.
But until I got to that point, I didn't understand who I was.
Yeah.
Because until you figure that out, like, yo, and no one come for you. Like, you
Yeah.
got to figure this out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Notice how many no's you get. It's always a step up there, right?
Yeah.
So, I identify with that.
I think a strong point with what you're saying is, and I just put this on my story, I think last night, as an entrepreneur, you really actually find yourself more than any probably other thing in the world. You have to, like, as an entrepreneur, it's probably the most solo thing you can do in life, and you have to kind of like become like super self-aware, but super in tune with who you are in terms of, triggers and emotions and the things you actually care about, the things you prioritize based on things you care about. Like, you have to really start to understand who you are, because your family might ask you to do this, or your friends might ask you to do this, but you got to prioritize for you, right? You got to become in tune with you. And so I think entrepreneurship is like the best journey to find out who you are. And to me, the most successful entrepreneurs are the most self-aware. And that's that journey and that process of understanding not only your business, but yourself, because the more you understand yourself, the more you can operate your business. And that kind of flows one-on-one.
I think for me, going on to like the next question, which might be the second to last question, which is, looking back to your journey, looking back to how far you've come, right? What is something or some advice you've gotten, or something you want to say to a young entrepreneur who's out there, who's like, you know what, I have an idea, or I've started it, but it's not working out. I don't know how I'm going to do this or scale it. What do you want to tell them?
Yeah, stop worrying about the end result, right? Everything that you're talking about is, I don't know how I'm going to get it to here. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do that. And just start enjoying the process and learn something new every day. Get addicted to learning. It will literally lead you to what you need to be doing. And so stop giving a shit about where it's going to be in the next 5 years. Just wake up every day, go learn something new about it, iterate, change, fix, put something together, but learn the whole way. And then as you're learning, you'll get lost in it, get addicted to it, and then shit will start happening for you. It always does.
I think something you said that really struck me is being able to be self-aware of who you are.
Yeah.
I think that was the point I was trying to get to, is most times you get to a point where it's like, I think today I was texting someone on my team. It was like, we have a pitch meeting today. It's like, are you ready for it? I'm like, I'm gonna be real with you, I'm not ready for it, but I got this, right? Yeah. It's like that mindset. I'm not ready. I'm never ready for it. Yeah. Like, you're never ready for it. Yeah. There's never a ready time. No. You just gotta put a date on and go do it. Yeah. Regardless of where it is. And that's kind of my mindset. It's like, I'm never ready for it, but I have all the information I need.
Yeah. And it's preparation, right? Like, you fall in love with the process, you learn the whole time. So when you put on stage or you put in that moment, you operate, right?
Right?
So it's just information, data, really like enjoying the learning and the process. So when I'm at my pitch competition or I'm on stage or, I'm in front of this investor to close this last deal and they ask a question that they would assume that I wouldn't know, I've already learned that.
Yeah.
I've already been through that
Yes.
process. I've already understood that.
Yes.
And that's where the confidence breeds, right? So when you're talking about, I'm not ready, but I got this, that's the confidence of like, I really have been through the process. So when I get to this point, the confidence comes from that. I think people like don't understand that like the difference between arrogance and confidence is the fact that the confidence is built on something that you learned and arrogance is built on something that you don't know, right? And so you're trying to act like you understand when you really got a lot of flaws or a lot of things that you don't understand. Confidence is built on, I put the fucking work in and I got this, right?
Yeah, no, that's fact. Cause like, it's like whatever I'm doing, no matter what question you ask me, I can answer it regardless because I know the general concept and I've been in that, like I've been there. I'm there. You know what I mean?
Putting the work in.
No matter what it is.
Yeah.
But man, Joshua, thank you again for coming on the show. Every time I sit with you, I'm inspired. I learn things. And today I'm going to go rewatch this episode because I need it.
Yeah.
But again, thank you for all you do. Thank you for being, for me, you're that guy. Like, you're that guy who I look up to. I'm like, yo, you're really making these moves. Like, when you launched Kin Seltzer, I got so excited like it was my own business.
Yeah.
Because I know what it took to pivot from one thing to another.
Yeah.
And I was really excited for you.
Yeah.
And being able to kind of see it grow, like, dude, like you don't know, like you inspire me so much. And, and I'm not saying that lightly. Like, you're someone who I look up to. Like, when I talk with you, I'm lucky enough that you're sitting with me, talking with me because I've seen your progress. So thank you.
And the love is both-sided, man. Like, this is not a one-way thing. I think, like I said, talking to you about the things you're building and sharing insight helps me as well, right? Like, I've learned some stuff today, right? And so, me and you got a pact on the back end of this that you can call me whenever. So it's always gonna be that way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And again, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing your journey. Thank you for bringing us some Kin Seltzer.
Always. Cheers.
Drink on that. Go get some Kin Seltzer. But again, thank you for being on the show. It's always an honor. For those who are watching at home, you know what time it is. Subscribe, share, let your friends know. We just want to give you the real. It's your boy Zeke Wanganga, Studio Entrepreneur, and I'm going to see you in this episode. Bye-bye for now.
Pick up the pace. Pick up the pace.